I am MaadiX. I'm presenting MaadiX. The lack of imagination that they will have to choose the name, but MaadiX is a toolkit that allows people to install free open source application on a known server without the need of having technical skills or make a big investment. The idea came from my experience with XNet, which I am co-founder, and XNet is an activist group which operates in things related with digital democracy, privacy protection, whistleblower protection, and so on. So working with other activist organizations, we were surprised to see how many people were using services provided by big corporations, and they were creating actions and sharing sensitive information, for example, with Google groups or stuff like that. And these people normally, most of them were aware that this was not the best practice, but they had no alternative. They say, I have no sysadmin, I have no money to pay one, what can I do? And we had no answer for that, actually. So this is what we did, build this answer. The approach to build this tool was very clear to us. We didn't want to create a service, to offer a service. We wanted to offer a solution that will empower users and transfer the responsibility of their data as well as the application to them. So we do not run a service with our sysadmin that manage their data, okay, encrypted, whatever you want, but it would be on our responsibility, and so we didn't want to reproduce that. So we decided that this tool must run on own service of people that can have at their home or with whatever internet hosting provider. This graph, why did I show you this? You say, it's this crazy. Because this is a list, an incomplete list of companies owned by Alphabet. And it's incomplete for two reasons. Because in the same Wikipedia they say that it's incomplete, and because it didn't fit in my screenshot. I made some GIMP to make it fit, but I couldn't get it all. So the thing is, if somebody needs email, make the decision to switch their organization from Gmail, for example, to another email provider, which option they have. They could, for example, use ProtonMail, we have just seen, but in my opinion, the model is not that different. I mean, you still trust that people from ProtonMail respect privacy and care about that. We say, okay, I mean, I'm not discussing that, but it's just a technical design, right? Or Tutanota. So what happens if Tutanota tomorrow belongs to that list? We have the same problem. We have not solved the base problem. That's why we decided that the email server must run on people machine, not on our common email server. And email is important. This is the graph. The first one is the Gmail users, and the blue bar refers to younger people. So it also it shows that there is a tendency of young people to use these tools, and it's normal because it works. It has a sex interface, and you have a lot of other services once you set up a Gmail account, and you can have it set up in a minute, of course. So the alternative, if you don't want to transfer this responsibility from Gmail to another external or more friendly, privacy-friendly company, the only alternative you have is to run the email server yourself. And this is a guide that you can follow. And when you get at the end, this is to install PostFix Dover code with LDAP. And when you get at the end, this is the result. And from here, you can start creating your first email account. And this is not sexy at all. So many people will end up here. And so, of course, this is fail, right? So this is the ideology, or I mean, the idea that was with us all the time when developing this tool. So there is not only the email server, of course, there are other tools for there are a lot, but Nextcloud, OnCloud, OnlyOffice Online, LibreOffice Online, a lot. Rocket Chat, VPN, so people can, from a graphical interface that we have developed, and which is installed on server when you start using MaadiX, from this graphical interface, you just select the application you want, you push the install button that is over there, and the installation process starts. From the same graphical interface, you can also manage other things. You can get a look at how your system is. You can create users, give them access. You can create VPN accounts. You can create virtual hosts for your domain and all the typical things you need in a server. So, but how does it work? So you can think about MaadiX as a recipe of repository, of recipes that people can download and apply on their own server. Now I will show a slide that you would say, oh no, yes, these are the technology we use, but some of you in the hall may know that Ansible and Puppet are not really privacy-friendly tools, but we changed the way we implemented them. So for OpenNebula, we only use that in case we also provide hosting to set up a virtual machine. But if you want to use Amazon, we don't use OpenNebula. You provide the server yourself. So the first, okay, it's a part. So Ansible, we just use it at the beginning to set up the first very basic installation. So we do not offer using MaadiX in server that are already previous configuration, because it would be a mess for us to calculate all the possible panorama, and we prefer to go on developing rather than solve different scenarios. So once Ansible basically what does is install the Puppet client. People could say, no, I want to do that my own. Okay, but I mean, we have all automatized, why not? So, and we could one day make an image that people can install, but we go slow because we are a small project. Anyway, so then Puppets, once you have the Puppet installed, you run a first Puppet agent. This is how it's called. And the Puppet agent talk to this repository and ask him, it, her, I don't know, to download the basic and to configure the base of the system, which includes the graphical interface, the LDAP directory, and MySQL, and all the base packages. So Puppet normally is not good for this purpose, to build autonomous and privacy oriented tool, because Puppet normally needs to know all the secrets about the machine that is talking with it. I mean, to install, for example, a MySQL server, Puppet needs to know which password will be used as a root password for the MySQL server. And normally Puppet stores this information on the master server. And this was something that we didn't want. So what we do, we solve this problem in a very silly, simple way, but it works. It works like a sham. So we cheat the Puppet master so that it is using fake templates with fake values that are common for all installation. And upon the installation is terminated, the machine locally generates its own secrets and overrides these secrets with the one that was used by Puppet. And that way, we not only, I mean, there are two benefits of this way of working. One is that, under a security point of view, we don't store in the same place a lot of secrets of people, which we don't want. It would be quite a mess for us. And second, users can apply own configurations, and Puppet wouldn't then override this personal configuration. In a normal environment, Puppet would do that, right? So then it's great, but then a lot of people who are, and organizations who are actually in high risk area started using MaadiX because it was useful for them. They could have infinite VPN account without asking anyone. It was very agile for them. And so suddenly we get concerned about the security because we took care about that, but you know. So we asked somebody externally to make a security audit, which we did with radically open security. And the thing is that from this security audit, the result was that there were a lot of recommendations that we are now in the phase of implementing in order to ensure the security of all the system. And this represents for us a big challenge because we had to translate all these concepts to the graphical interface. We don't want people to avoid using this security enforcement because they are too complicated, so we are making an effort. We are not expert in UX, so we are making an effort. We will need help on that. And also because, for example, the security audit says that we just should allow TLS version 1.2. And we know that there are people using MaadiX that have old browsers that do not support that. They may have problems, so we would transform MaadiX in something impossible to use, not working, you know? So we decided to leave this decision to users. So now we are implementing all views, all interfaces related with these issues, these security issues. And MaadiX you can use once, install the application you want, and not use it anymore. You cannot talk with the server. You can actually uninstall the Puppet or whatever. But what we do, we also provide updates because one system, once it runs, you need to maintain it. And so we publish periodically new releases in which, typical, we have bug fixes, security enforcement, new application, updates for existing previous applications. So the important thing on that is that this graphical interface is not running any command. It's just an interface from where user inserts data which are written from this interface, which is a Django, based in Django, and right in the LDAP. So then there is the cron who is reading this LDAP, and if it finds that something must be done, because there is a status who changes, so the Puppet is triggered. Otherwise, no. For example, these are some custom models we have developed. We also use some models from the Puppet Forge, and these are models that run locally on the machine. So not every time the client needs to talk with the master. There are, for example, when creating a new domain and you need to create the virtual host, this is something that the machine can carry out locally on their own using these Puppet models. Yes? So what it happens is that if a new domain is added, the domains module turns into a locked status. So the cron reads that and perform all the necessary tasks in order to create the virtual host, the Let's Encrypt certificate, the web root folder, and all that. So we are always working on this tool. Ooh, I have a lot of time working on this tool, and we are now planning to add new tools such as Moodle. Then also we want to add something for online forms, which are not pretty sure which is the best solution, if you can help us on that. But basically the decision to add a new feature is from the feedback we receive from people that are using that. So, but yes, we want to add a Kanban. That there is nothing right now for that. And there is you have to think that MaadiX can run on a very small machine. We use very little Docker just for the application that had only Docker support, with a Dockerized image support. And all the other stuff are integrated. We just use Debian because it's easier for us to just give support to one operating system. And of course, people have root access to their machine. It's their own machine. They have root access. Everything is written in the log. We didn't publish the server side because it's just a puppet with the models we use. And most of them, we publish the one we developed, but the other one are from the Puppet Forge directly. So also all the sources are downloaded directly from, if you download, I don't know, the MySQL server, it's downloaded directly with Debian from the source. So yes, we would like to make a better documentation of all the infrastructure we will do, but we are always behind the timetable, but this is our intention, and I think it's all. I hope you have understood what we do, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. There's a lot of time for questions. Does anyone have a question?
I would like to ask if you are aware of FOSDEM and Cloudron.
Cloudron, yes.
Yes.
Yes, the difference is that...
host, Cloudron, and the other one...
Yes, the other one is, I tell you, the one that the guy went to work with,
no.
Cloudflare, no? How is that called?
Sandstorm,
yes. I know, but I've got...
What are the differences?
Yes. Before starting, we looked, because if this solution already exists, why repeat ourselves? So the difference with Cloudron is that on Cloudron, if you install on your own another application and then you update the Cloudron, it will overwrite all your custom things. They say that on their website. So it was not useful for us because it was just for us, MaadiX is the tool that avoid repeating boring tasks such as installing, but people need to have the freedom to then make the customization of their own system. So this was not useful for us. Sandstorm for something is more complicated for user. If you want to set up a website and make it accessible with the domain, some configuration, and you still need to have some skills in order to install them, run it, and so on. And among these three, host is the one we love more. We think it's great. Yesterday we were talking with people from the project, and the thing is that in this case also, people need to somehow have a sysadmin capable to make some little maintenance on the one hand. On the other hand, we saw that their interface is running scripts directly. And we thought that under a security point of view, it was not a good decision. We wanted something that could mark this difference and this separation. And on the other hand, this system allows us to also provide service as a sysadmin, I refer, to bigger organizations and provide them a very customized configuration for the server. Because, for example, we could create a template just for them if we want, So, and we give maintenance and support to bigger organizations, and they ask us, for example, a feature that it only works for them, So we just can work that way also with bigger organizations, but we have systematized all the sysadmin work, which is boring and repeating and so on.
Any more questions? We still have time.
So would it be possible to install it on my own machine that I have running in my basement?
Your own PC?
Yeah.
Yes, you could, but think it's a server environment. And with the local installation, the problem is the IP. If you are changing IP, think that you have, for example, let's encrypt certificate generated that then if you change the IP, everything would break, you know? So, oh, yes, you could, but take into account this thing about IPs. For example, to install the Rocket Chat, you need a known domain or subdomain. The process automatically creates the virtual host. So if your ISP change your IP, your MaadiX is fucked up, or you won't work anymore. But yes, it can work. You can, for example, decide, then you make some configuration and decide to use it just in a LAN, and so it would work.
Any?
How do you do major upgrade?
Major upgrade, oof. We did from Jesse to Stretch, and in this we need to a little bit communicate with the user. It's not just a button, but what we did was a button in which users send us like a report, because so we see if they had made some installed other applications, you know, to see if their system has some application that is not included in the upgrade, for example. Then we have automatized part of this process, but every machine that we did the upgrade from Jesse to Stretch, we say to people, come to the DRC, write this command, do that. I mean, we had to communicate because it's a major upgrade. We tell them, do a backup before everything. So this is a little bit more complicated. We could not get just one click, but because we prefer also that. We prefer to have a conversation with them, be sure that they have a backup and stuff like that, because we don't provide backup to people. Then we are going to implement encrypted backup, so we will also maybe find a way to solve that, but at the moment we do not provide backup. Sorry, here in the GitLab there are some pre-stretch, post-stretch manifests that you can get a look of what they do. That is the preparation to go from Jesse to Stretch. You can read them.
And did you automate also the installation configuration of things like fail to ban or
Yes.
ClamAV,
Yes.
stuff like that? So
We don't
security
use it. We
aspect
have Spam Assassin, for example, is something that user can install. Until now, for everybody is level 3, but we will add the option to increase or reduce this level. And for fail to ban, also the configuration till now is the default, and is for SSH, Saggle, Apache, Dovecot, and so on. But I mean, now it's included by default in all servers, not a package that people can decide to have or not. This is mandatory in this case. But yes, we would like to add the opportunity to, to change for example, we will need to put the opportunity to unban IP from this control panel, because a lot of people, for example, when configuring the Thunderbird, yes, they make errors there, and so they get banned from the Dovecot, So we would like to add a customization for that.
Hello, how do you decide which apps are included in the library of apps? How does it work?
We started because we needed this tool. So we started putting the apps we needed, and the community we were working with. And then some other that we didn't think of were requested by people that were already using MaadiX. And so when we saw that it was not just only one person, but more than one, so we decided, okay, they're right, this app is useful. So if somebody requests, it would be great to have this application, and it's not really a crazy thing that it's, we add it.
You said that you are going to add new apps in the future.
Yes, in the future is 6 months, because
Like Moodle, you said Moodle.
we want to add Moodle, And we want to add, we were thinking about the line survey, you know, to create online form, but it's not really so much easier to use for, I mean, the interface, in my opinion, is not so clean. So we are digging and investigating why not? Which alternative could there be for that? If you know some, we would love to check more.
Okay, thank you very much. We're running out of time.